Groaners, welcome into another foray into the Groan Zone for the 79th time. Never thought we'd get this far, let alone near 100. Remember, if this is your first time in the Groan Zone, start from episode 1 if you're having a groan-a-thon. If you don't, you'll spoil the games for yourself and stories will be out of sync and make no sense. Mega props to Admin Nicole for her help in this week's episode. She really saved my bacon because I was struggling this week. My groans will be last this week as we are doing the show in reverse order. However, not the game answers first, as that would be counterintuitive and the show would end now and would make no sense. However, your games this week are Gimme the Question and Yes or BS and Who the Hell Am I? We begin with Who the Hell Am I? And everything else will follow on after. Of course, you know what Who the Hell Am I is. It's your weekly pictorial, well, your 2-weekly pictorial game, I should say. This one, the link will appear in the show notes, but I'll go into that in a minute. Your clue is a patriotic superhero who does his best to save the world. Now remember, the image only shows on the Podbean website when you open the episode up. I don't know why it won't show on other platforms. I know people on Spotify have a problem. I've not heard of anyone else who's not able to see the picture. If you can't see it, if you're listening somewhere else, do let me know and I'll see what I can come up with to try and fix it. Moving the show along now, we have Zero of the Week. This week's Zero goes out to the reckless, uncaring idiot who stole a car from a woman. However, this car still had the woman's blind, dementia-suffering elderly mother in it. How heartless do you need to be to do this? They gave him 8 years in prison, which although is something, it isn't harsh enough. Full props to the police who chased him down and saved the poor woman unharmed, physically, and reunited her with her daughter. Good work to all, and I hope she hasn't got too much emotional trauma. I wish her a speedy recovery. Still in backwards order, we now have Oh Unlucky! Well, Groaners, do you recall a while ago in an episode we had sharks getting wrecked on cocaine? Just wait until you hear this one. This week's Oh Unlucky goes out to the New Orleans Police Department. Why? Rats managed to bust their way in to the evidence lockers of the decaying police headquarters. The problem? The rats devoured all of the confiscated marijuana. Picture the scene. Rats are pests at the worst of times, but high and getting the munchies, whole different animal. Shuffling it over now, we have reverse game order number 2 with Gimme the Question. Round 1. Your answer is unsolved crimes. Your questions are: A. What cost the UK police force the most in their budget? Option B. As of July 2023, what currently stands at 90%, including charges dropped for UK police force stats? And option C. What cases are being sent to UK private investigators due to police being stretched? Go Groaners, play along live. Give me your answers. You play after the fact. Here's where you pause, you answer, and you unpause. What do we have? Play along live. We have a C that's flown in there. Okie dokie. Any more? More C's are flying in. Okay. Right then. Any more? Give you a couple of seconds. There's your seconds. No more. Okie dokie. Round 2. Your answer is B's food contribution. Your questions are: Option A. What is worth nearly £600 million in food yield as of June 2022? B. What is the annual honey yield harvested from bees called? And C. What is the biggest non-mammal food load trading on the UK Stock Exchange? Groaners, give me those answers. You're playing after the fact, you pause, you answer, you unpause. What we got? Oh, they're flying in now. Room split, entire room split. Everyone's gone for B's and C's. Never mind. As soon as I said that, someone stuck an A in. Okay. So therefore we've had a spread across the board. Okie doke, moving on. We now have round number 3 this time. Your answer is bobbinet. That's B-O-B-B-I-N-E-T. Your questions are: option A, what is a type of crochet method? B, what is a kind of medieval fishing method? And C, what fabric were Victorian dresses made of? Same thing as before. Give me answers along live. You're playing after, pause, answer, unpause. We're getting C heavy this week. Loads of C's flying in. Okay, any more groaners? I'm only giving you a few seconds more. Oh, A's are flowing in as well. Another split. Okay, any more? Nope, no one else is typing. Couple more seconds. Nope, that's it. You're all done. Sorry if you're typing now. Stop. You can't put any more answers in. I'm sorry, that's it. That's it for that one, but answers will roll around later on in the show. Stepping over again, let's slide this episode along with the audience groan. Okay, so I've not had my groan time yet, but being gracious, I will let one of you out there groan first and have your time. This groan came in via Discord direct message from T Downs of Bradford. And they groan: when people disrespect me and take me for granted, it hurts my soul. T, we've all been there at one point in our lives. It's not a good feeling when someone makes us feel that way. Keep your chin up. Hashtag brofist. You take care, alright? If you'd like to groan in, drop your Zero or Hero of the Week nominations, tell us your why or why, or your oh unlucky story, or simply want to give us feedback, you can do so via the following. You can drop off an email to thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can hit us up, that's myself or Nicole, on Facebook Messenger at Nicole Amos or Mystery Groaner. You can join in the fun on Facebook groups under the Groan Zone podcast. You can hit us up on Discord at the Groan Zone, or comment on any episode and it'll be added to a future episode. You never know, you might get your material read out as soon as possible. All you gotta do, send it in. More groans to surface later from yours truly, but now we must ask, why oh why? This is so pointless. So a nightie has been sold by a person on Vinted, but the buyer wanted it washed by the sender. Fair enough, reasonable expectation, alright. They obliged, but this meant sending was delayed. Still arguing the toss, the nightie was sent but held up in post, as you would expect. They were fighting over the time it was taking and how long it took to reply to each other. I guess they forgot people can get busy. A £1 nightie? A pointless argument? I've just got to ask, why oh why? There'll be more why oh why next week, but I hear our last game for this week knocking on the door. It's time for Yes or BS. Round 1. How random is this round? Option A. There are 20,000 species of scarab beetle. Option B. Black and sable represent the same colour. And C. The leaf-nosed bat cannot crawl on its thumbs and toes like most other bats. Go Groaners. Give me your answers please. Remember, for Yes or BS, you must stay away from the false answers. If you pick them at round 1, you're safe because you got no points. If you pick them later, your points get wiped. Also, after this, you can have a pause, have a think of your answer, then give me your answer. The Groaners on live, they've gone straight in with A and C. Okay, another split. Okay, perfectly fine, I can deal with that. No problem at all. Round 2. Why is this even more random? Option A. Hawaii has the most amount of endangered species. Option B. Shinigami Shama is another name for death, aka the Grim Reaper, and I apologise to the Grim Reaper if I butchered that. And C. The koi fish only live for 80 years in the UK. Groaners live, give me your answers. You're not playing live, you pause, you answer, you unpause. Wow, I've had C's fly in this week, and A's coming in as well. The Groaners are really hot playing along this week live. Are you hot playing at home? You'll find out later. We've had C's and A's. There we go, another split. You'll find out later if you're right. Round 3. Yep, more random than ever. Option A. Mary Shelley died off the coast of France in Saint-Tropez in 1876. Option B. The ancient Greeks were the first known real architects. And option C. A baccy, that's B-A-C-H-I, is an essential part of equipment that allows a shamisen to be played. Playing live, you don't pause, you give me answers now. Those after the fact, you pause your answer on pause. Oh, we've had some answers flipping along there. Any more? We've had B's flying in. Any more? I think people are typing. Anyone? You've got a couple of seconds and I'm going to have to stop. Load of B's have came in there. Okay. Any more? I've got to rush your Groaners. You miss your chance in a second. And that's it. Sorry, anyone wants to come in now? I can't accept them. A load of B's come in there. You'll find out later if you're right. I should really say, you'll find out later if your yes or BS points were blanked. If you're blanked, your points from Gimme the Question are safe. Don't worry. However, now I smell creepy coming on now with Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. Your story this week is called Dead Man Walking. That name, that one horrid name. It shouldn't be possible for a single name to instill so much fear into a person that it paralyzes them. Yet Dr. Barnabas Quack was one such name. The mere mention of it looked like it would send the old man into a coma. He quickly dashed over to Ivy and grabbed her arms, asking her in the calmest way he possibly could where she had heard that name. She told him without hesitation that Dr. Quack had been in this town many times. Her father snuck him in without the old man ever knowing. Then the old man remembered all the strange reports in town of a hooded figure in the night. Someone he was never able to find. It must have been him. Dr. Quack was the most important scientist in the Great War. The one in charge. The one that created the formula. DX, he called it. He made 10 very different formulas to create 10 very different soldiers to fight in the Great War. To be chosen was supposed to be an honour, but no one ever volunteered. No one needed to, because when you're chosen, you don't have a choice. Untested, unknown chemicals that could have done literally anything to its host. The old man was given number 4. That pain never left him. Those memories, the trauma of being in that room, the metal restraints, the injections, the bright lights, he remembered it all so vividly. Even after he gave his soul to the darkness at the bottom of the shop all those years ago, those memories never left him. That unending pain, that torture, the electricity, the pain, the screams for mercy. He begged them to stop, over and over, for months, injected with that chemical and branded with a 4, so he would never forget who he was now. On the outside, he was still human, but his heart went silent. DX4 turned him into a machine from the inside. Nanobots and surgeons tearing away at him, over and over with that unending horror and pain. A heart that no longer needed to beat, and organs turned metal, blood replaced with wires. On the outside, an unassuming human. On the inside, nothing but a machine. He remembers that pain. He remembers those nights he was finally home and spent all that time in his garage, smashing everything in sight, unable to control his rage and his pain until he was so exhausted. His wife was standing nearby waiting for him to finish so she could comfort him and then replace everything that was broken so he could do it all over again. It was all she could do to ease his pain even a little bit. Every day she would do this for him, for as long as he needed her to. She knew something happened to him, but she never dared to question. It didn't matter, she would love him no matter what happened, as she knew he would always love her too, something he would always prove at any rare chance he got. The old man could never forget that name, or the face of that horrid man, or the 9 other souls who were tortured just like him. So why was the mayor sneaking him into town, with no one knowing about it? The old man thought he died in the Great War, but he must have run off like a coward. Ivy reached a hand to the old man's cheek and reassured him. She knew his pain, which scared him even more. He needed to know what she knew. Dad knows you can't die, Uncle. He figured it out after all those times he poisoned you and Great-Grandpa, Ivy said. That was impossible. His best friend and the original mayor of the town died of natural causes when he was in his old age. He was like a brother to the old man who watched him grow up with the town. Even in his old age, the original mayor acted like he was immortal, yet death must come for everyone eventually. The old man took it hardest, but even he accepted that it was his time to go. Ivy said it was actually a hidden poison that couldn't be traced and was supposed to kill the old man too. Her mother and grandfather too. That was the mayor's doing. She thought Ivy was sick, and that's why the mayor brought in what he said was the best doctor there was. Her grandfather didn't believe him, and eventually her mother found out the truth and they had to go. The mysterious house fire that her poor mother and grandfather got caught in, that burned down their old home, that was the mayor's doing. If he couldn't kill the old man, then he had to go by the blood contract that was made putting someone in his family in charge of watching over the town. So he needed Ivy to grow up fast and be the perfect puppet. Dr. Quack spent years in hiding, continuing his experiments. He didn't have much to work with and was only able to make a small sample of each version of his DX chemical. He couldn't turn down an offer to use them, and so when the mayor started sneaking him into town, his opportunity was there. Ivy was only a year old when it happened. The samples wouldn't be enough for one person, even one so young, so the mayor and Dr. Quack decided to put them together, creating DX11. Ivy would be the one to continue Dr. Quack's work. All it took was one injection and the usual branding of the number. In her case, she was now officially DX11. This was all he had. For months after, it seemed like nothing happened. Yet she was advancing far quicker than any child ever could. Her brain was advancing faster than anyone could realise, and it wasn't killing her either. Ivy was a success, and now of use to her father, but she quickly learned what was going on and only played along until she had her own opening to tell the old man the truth and warn him. She was just sorry it took so long. The old man wrapped his arms around her and couldn't stop apologising for what she went through. He knew it all too well. I'll be alright, Uncle. I saw your pain too after all, and everyone else's. I see it all. Those samples he had were infused with all of your DNA after all. Now I know what everyone went through back then. All 10 of you. I've seen it all now. Let me help you and end it before there's a number 12, Ivy said, smiling through her pain. DX11 was a perfect memory, and heightened intelligence with a side effect of reoccurring nightmares from the pain the other 10 went through when they were changed as a result of his experiments due to their DNA being mixed with hers, giving her a permanent connection to them all. The old man was now even more determined than ever. The town was mostly rubble. His people were gone, experimenting on his own child and killing his own family. The old man was going to end the mayor once and for all, no matter how. What is it with you and cliffhangers again, Nicole? More Creepy Corner next week. A really well written episode. I should say story there, not episode. And bringing the show to a close, we have My Groans and then the game answers. My Groans. Elections polling day. People that lecture you on who you should vote for annoy me. I have no faith in any of the parties, and I decide who I vote for, and other people do not get to lecture me when I decide. No, I won't say who I voted for afterwards either. I don't ask other people what their mortgage or bank balance is. Dumb situations. So the other day, I was sat in the bus and did not have my headphones on. The woman in front of me turned around and asked me to stop listening to her conversation. I wasn't even listening, but damn, your voice was annoying. Headphones don't come with humans as standard. Maybe if you want privacy, ring when you get off the bus. Just a thought. Cheating in eating contests. If anyone knows anything about eating contests, just like any other contest, it should be fair. There is this thing called chipmunking, which a lot of competitors get away with. It's pretty much where you stuff your mouth until your cheeks look like a chipmunk's. I'm sorry, but if it hasn't gone down your gullet, then it doesn't count. At the end, they should give a 1-minute warning to swallow any food left. If they don't or pick up more, they are immediately disqualified. And with that, my groan bag is over and out until next week, but now let's have those all important game answers. Admin Nicole's anagram anxiety. This one did my head in for a week, and so much for me thinking it was pyro related stuff. Your anagram answer was Death's Head Hawkmoth. I wouldn't have thought of that in a million years. If anyone out there got it, you're a legend. Yes or BS now? Round 1, how random is this? If you went for option A, there are 20,000 species of scarab beetle, that's false. There are actually more than 30,000 species. Option B, black and sable represent the same colour. It's true. Black describes the colour, and actually is the colour, and sable is a synonym for it. And option C, the leaf-nosed bat cannot crawl on its thumbs and toes like most bats. That is true. Round 2, why is this even more random? Option A, Hawaii has the most amount of endangered species. That is 100% proven. Option B, Shinigami-sama is another name for death, aka the Grim Reaper. True, one of his many aliases, or hers, his, theirs, whatever. And option C, the koi fish can only live for 80 years in the UK. False, they only live for 30 to 70 years in the UK, but can live for 200 years plus in warmer countries. Round 3, yep, more random than ever. Option A, Mary Shelley died off the coast of France in Saint-Tropez in 1876. False, she died in Chester Square in London in 1851. Option B, the ancient Greeks were the first known real architects. Again, this is false. The first real architect was an Egyptian priest known as Imhotep, and I'm not talking that one from the Mummy movie. Option C, a baki is an essential part of equipment that allows your shamisen to be played. This is 100% true. A shamisen is a 3-string Japanese instrument, and the baki is a type of plectrum that's suited to it. And finally, give me the question. Round 1. Your answer was unsolved crimes. Your correct question was B. As of July 2023, what currently stands at 90%, including charges being dropped for UK Police Force stats? That's the right one. Round 2. Your answer was B's food contribution. Your correct question was A. What is worth nearly £600 million in food yield as of June 2022? And last one, round 3. Your answer was bobbinet. Your correct question was C. What fabric were Victorian dresses made of? And with that, with any luck, you, my dear groaners, bagged some points and hopefully didn't get blanked. If you didn't, or you got blanked, try again next week when we return for more shenanigans into the Groan Zone. And on that note, take care, groaners. Bye bye.